Hi, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Rute and I'm a medical doctor. Today I'm going to show you how you can take your blood pressure at home. There might be a number of reasons why you're choosing to watch this video. It might be because your healthcare provider has suggested that you check your blood pressure at home for a number of reasons. It might be that you've just decided you want to be more aware of what your blood pressure is and you want to know how to take your blood pressure at home. So I'm going to show you how you take your blood pressure and how you record it. It's important to note that one high blood pressure reading does not indicate that you have high blood pressure. This is why we recommend you do it like this. So we recommend that you take your blood pressure for a week. So you do it twice a day for 7 days, in the morning and in the evening. We also recommend that each time you're sitting down to take your blood pressure, you do it 3 times, at least 1 minute apart. And then you only record the lowest number. And then to calculate what your blood pressure is, you will take the average of those readings. Usually, if you've done it for 7 days, you will have 14 readings, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening for the 7 days. What we usually do sometimes is ask you not to take into account the first day's readings. So instead, you will have 6 days readings and they will be 12 readings. The reason behind that is because the first time that you take your blood pressure or the first day that you take your blood pressure, it tends to be high. So let's go through it step by step together. So what you want is a blood pressure machine. So the blood pressure machine that you use, it doesn't matter which brand. I just happen to have this brand at home, but I'm not advocating for any particular brand. You can pick the brand that you choose. What you want to make sure before you take your blood pressure is that you're in the right environment. You're not stressed. So make sure that you are seated down and relaxed. So you've got your back supported. Your arm is resting on an armchair, or you might rest it on a desk or a table. Also important to make sure that when you're seated, your feet are on the ground. There are a number of things that can increase your blood pressure, and I've talked about this in detail in my other video on high blood pressure, which I would recommend that you look at after this video because it talks about what is high blood pressure, what are the symptoms, what are the numbers that indicate you have high blood pressure, what are the treatment options, and how can you help prevent getting high blood pressure. So one of the things that I talked about that can increase your blood pressure is stress. Now, stress can be both physical or mental stress. So for example, if you've just been looking around for your blood pressure machine or you've just been running and then you want to take your blood pressure, the chances are your blood pressure is going to be high. So at least, 5 minutes before you taking your blood pressure, make sure you are rested and you are calm and you're not stressed. Other things that can increase your blood pressure are things like tea, coffee, and smoking. So at least half an hour before you take your blood pressure, make sure you haven't had any caffeinated drinks or had a cigarette. So what do we do? So we've got our blood pressure machine. Most blood pressure machines, when you purchase them, they come with one cuff. This tends to be the cuff that most people use. But there's some people who might need a bigger cuff and there's some people who might need a smaller cuff. But all the cuffs should come like this. So you've got a cuff and it's connected to your blood pressure machine here. Make sure it's well powered, so it's got the right batteries in there if it uses batteries. The two things that are really important on the blood pressure cuff is this tube and this sign here. My one has a circle, others might have an arrow. So this is where roughly we would want your artery to be at. Now you don't need to usually worry about this, but usually the instructions are also there on the user manual. If you concentrate on this tubing and you want this tubing to be in the middle of your arm like so. So I'll show you. So as you are putting your blood pressure cuff on, you want to make sure that you're not wearing any tight clothes and you're not putting your blood pressure cuff on top of clothes. So you put it like this and you can see the tubing is in the middle. Automatically, this will roughly be pointing towards your artery, so your artery is here. You can easily adjust it in a little bit when it's a bit tighter, and also you don't want it to be too tight, so you want to be able to put 2 fingers through. So I'll show you. I don't want it to be right in the joint. I want it to be at least an inch above. So I'm going to lift it up a little bit. That's good. So that's at least an inch above my joint. And also I can easily put 2 fingers through. So I'll show you like that. So I don't have to worry. It's not too tight. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. Because what's going to happen is once you pump it, it's going to squeeze. So once you press start, it's going to squeeze and you're most likely going to feel it in your arm. And then shortly after, it's going to relax and you're going to feel the pressure relaxing. During that time, it's important to be silent and not to be moving. Let me show you. That's done. So my blood pressure is 117/76. And you will see that you will get 3 numbers. But the important numbers in relation to your blood pressure are the 2 top numbers. So it would be the systolic and the diastolic. The one at the bottom tends to be the pulse. And that's not relevant at the moment. If your healthcare provider wants the pulse, then they will ask you to also give them the pulse. And that's used for different scenarios. So I'm going to write that down. That's 117/76. And then I'm going to wait a minute. And then I'm going to do it again. I'm going to wait a minute again and I'm going to do it again. So after the 117/76, I got 118/74. And then after that, I waited a minute. And the third one I got was 115/73. So my lowest one is the last one, 115/73. Let me just show you the chart that I am using. So it's got a place where you can put your name, your date of birth, your NHS number or your hospital number. This is just a chart that I've made up myself. You can make one yourself or you can get one from your GP. And this is just for illustration purposes, just to show you so you can have a visual idea of what exactly I'm talking about. So today we've had 3 blood pressure readings and my lowest one was 115/73. So because today is day 1 and the first time we're doing it, we're going to put 115/73 in here. And then we're going to do it later on in the day. And then we're going to do the same thing again where we're going to take 3 blood pressure readings and we're going to pick the lowest one of the 3. And that's the one that we're going to document in the chart. So we've got all of our lowest blood pressure reading from day 1 to day 7. So now what we need is to have our average blood pressure. So to get an average blood pressure, we need an average of these blood pressure reading numbers. Now, remember when I said most of the times we exclude the first day because it tends to be high. So let's say in this occasion, we've excluded the first day. All these numbers I've just made up just for illustration purposes. So we've excluded the first day. So we're not going to use any of these. And we're now just going to take the average of 6 days. So we're going to add all the top numbers and then divide by 12. So the total is 1416, and because they're 12 separate readings, that's divided by 12 is equals to 118. So our systolic average is 118. So we're going to put it here in the average section, 118. So now let's calculate the diastolic, so the lower numbers. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, 82. So the total is 944. 944 divided by 12. So divided by 12 is equal to 78.6. So rounded off, that will be 79. So our average is 79 for the diastolic. So our average blood pressure is 118/79. So we're going to put our name there, our date of birth, our NHS number or hospital number, and don't forget to add the dates as well on the days on the left there. And that's it. Then we're going to obviously send that to the doctors. Some doctor surgery already have a system or a software that does that for you. All you have to do is put in the number and then it calculates the average for you. Don't forget to watch the detailed video on high blood pressure, which will have more information on the numbers. Thank you so much for tuning in into this video. I hope you found it useful. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and please do share the video with others. Until next time, bye for now.